Hey, 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 everyone. Welcome to another edition of Fabulous Feature Friday. I'm Susan Bach, your host for this weekly event, and I'm delighted you're with us today. I'm glad you're with you, too. I'm here today with Joan Friedlander. Joan is one of the members of our group and has been a longtime supporter and a lifelong friend. We go way back. And Joan is not with us today as a human design guide, nor is she with us today as the business coach. Joan is with us today as Joan, and the adventure, the journey that Joan has been on. So welcome, Joan. Delighted to have you here.
Thank you, and thanks for having me back a second time. I was thinking about that this morning, and I'm just very appreciative.
You're more than welcome. When you had the courage to share with me this transformation, reinvention that you're going through, and we're willing to share that with our listeners, I thought this is a worthy message because it's just so powerful and so profound, Joan. So thank you for having the courage to share your journey with us today. Sometimes messy, not always pretty, and yet it's what we go through. So I want to start off with the first question, Joan, which is, what got you started on this quest?
Yeah, and I'll state the quest just so we have the frame. I'm calling it the messy road to sovereignty. But it's really the quest for sovereignty. And I suppose in many ways that it's been the quest of my adult lifetime. I'm not going to go back that far. But I will, you'd mentioned human design in February. I had a conversation about human design, which is a system that helps you tune into a healthy, correct strategy for your life, as well as to the inner authority in your form that helps you navigate life as your own authority and nobody else's. And so that has been awesome. I've been doing this for about 10 years now. And what one gets to run into is this, this increasing awareness of what the conditioning or the tendencies that can take you off track. So this has become a little more loud for me of late. And the other thing that happened, like the word sovereignty arose as a place to stand in last September. I went to an equinox ceremony with women in Denver, and that was my word, and I still have it. A little thing here. I am a woman who feels sovereignly complete. She does not need the other. She chooses the other.
Ooh, will you read that again, please?
Sure. The whole thing, and the word that goes with it is love. And interestingly enough, my word for this year is love, which is like, it kind of pissed me off. It's like, love. But anyway, yes, love. I am a woman who feels sovereignly complete within herself. She does not need the other. She chooses the other.
Oh, that is beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I would say in my lifetime, I mean, I have to make a conscious decision to not seek the other. I have a feeling, and I don't know how common this is for women or men, I don't know, that we look for ourselves in the other in some way. And it just doesn't occur to me, it hasn't occurred to me. It's starting to occur to me that somebody might be seeking me out. I don't know. And that I have this choice of who I let in.
Just to elaborate for a minute on the seeking of others,
yes.
Could be romantic relationships, could be family relationships, dynamics, friendship, just any relationship with someone else.
Business.
Okay, good.
Business. That's one of my more recent things. We're fast forwarding to now for a second, which is the recognition. I guess I'll just do this. I've had the habit. I'm actually a really good second person. I've been a good second person for much of my working life. And And I'm not sure that that's a bad thing inherently, but what I have really seen recently is it is much easier for me to get on somebody else's ride, so to speak, than to stand right here and have this come from me. What am I up to? What if I could know what that was, and others would come towards me? I mean, this is the whole thing. It's this shift from they to this.
So would you say that that's been your biggest challenge and also your biggest gift that you're discovering?
We'll find out about the gift part soon. I'm praying a certain way. And then, and I have recently moved, the second time I've left my marriage house. First time was 5 years ago to Sedona. Then I went back, and then I just came back to Sedona again. And it's really scary in a certain way, scary and exciting. Like, could this really be my life? Could this be my life? And I was sitting in this is my home, my workspace and my home. And I was sitting over on my sofa last night looking around and just seeing reflects me. And I've lived by myself at other times, but there's something about this time that it's like, oh, this all is, I brought this in. So it's like those little things that are both exciting and like what if there is nothing to anchor myself on except for me?
You made the comment earlier that you're a very good second. You're accustomed to being second. And what I hear now, you saying that perhaps some of your discomfort is that you are putting yourself first.
Yes.
Not only in the spotlight of my life, what is it that I want in my life, but now you're home. It's my home. It's not a combination of people or of things or an accumulation. This is where I am now.
Yes.
Good.
And,
okay.
Yeah. And then the other thing, so before I moved back to Sedona, I was living in Phoenix for a few months because I couldn't get back to Sedona. It's a little hard to get in here to live. But so I was going back and forth, and I have some friends here from the last time I lived here. So this was kind of the first thing that tripped me into this next section that I want to talk about. I independently, 2 different conversations within a short period of time with 2 women I consider to be friends. And they said to me, again, separate conversations, I don't have any real friends. And I thought, what is this? I thought we were friends. I certainly like them. And then I also noticed that it was hard to actually get together with them. One of them is just, I would say, in a not very happy place with her life. I mean, that's, she said, I just have a lot going on. That's what she often tells me. And for me, it's like, I know people retreat when they have a lot going on, but why not reach out?
Good point.
And then the other one does have a lot going on in her life. So, but it's like, and she's a single mom with a kid. So I just started to think about that. I was talking to another coaching friend of mine, also known about the same amount of time as you. And she told me about the Need Less program from Coach University. And I attended Corporate Coach University for my certification. So I might have missed the Need Less program. But
and you're saying need
less. Yeah, need less. So putting yourself first needs. Women, diminished capacity for friendship. I was in Phoenix, there was a point where I just realized I had no idea what I would want to do for fun either. So it wasn't just them. And so I just was like, what is it? I go, in Sedona, I hang out at Whole Foods, our local cafe disappeared a year ago. So locals hang out there, and more men are out and about than women. It was easier to say hey to men than to say hey to women. It was, my women friends weren't coming and hanging out there. they were in their little spots. So I had some conversations, did some exploration, look at this need less program, and I thought, oh, maybe if we, I mean, I hate to generalize for women this way, but and I've had enough conversations to say there may be some truth to this, if women in their relationships in life have sublimated their needs for so long, perhaps this is there is no capacity to play. If they haven't been putting themselves first, if they are, if a kid, it's hard to put yourself first, but we still need our time. So this is what I started to look at, and I took on the Need Less program myself. Should I keep talking?
Yes.
Okay, good. And it's really remarkable, and what I love about it, it sounds like, another way I could say it is getting your needs met, which sounds like looking out there for your needs. And what this program really is, in a very brilliant way, is first of all identifying the personal needs that are required for you to be your best self. And there's a list of 200.
Oh my gosh, I can just feel women getting uncomfortable already with the idea of identifying my personal needs. Oh my gosh.
I know. 4. So and of the list of 4, you get 200, you pick 4.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
And I'm not very good at whittling down, but I found a way to do that. And it says, and especially the ones you don't want to admit to.
Oof.
But the idea of it, and this is what I love about it as I read the process, is you actually take responsibility for getting those needs met. It includes setting boundaries. Oh my God, kill me now. It includes having integrity with your own boundaries, because if you're going to set them, you also have to honor them on your side of the equation. And I was already starting to see the difficulty with that. Oh no, they're going to not like me. And I really had the feeling, if I put myself first, I will disappear. I mean, it was so strong. That was my first reaction.
Tell me a bit more about that. You would disappear?
It is the weirdest feeling. I would be forgotten.
Because you're first.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I can't, it's almost like the words don't communicate exactly how it felt. And maybe if I use that word, others might relate to it. I don't know. Certainly guilt comes up, because I've started to institute the process. But I said I would be there. I was the person who was there. Now I'm not going to be there?
So if you would vacate the role of second, if you would.
Or the person who is there for you.
Yes, and step into the role of self, then you would become invisible because you're no longer in the role you've been.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. And it was so uncomfortable. I felt sick to my stomach. I felt sick to my stomach at times. I mean, it fascinates me, because I don't think most people would think that I am not sovereign if they watch my life.
And yet.
Yeah, and yet, yes.
So in addition to the Need Less program, and certainly your training in human design has facilitated much of this quest and discovery that you're on, are there other practices you're using or can recommend that we use to, first of all, discover and then sustain this sovereignty with self?
Yes, I mean, part of it was to identify the needs, to do that. And even before I really got into the program itself and the steps recommended, I can see that it's already working on me. And I can share the needs if you'd like.
If you would be willing to, that'd be great.
So this was the one that was the hardest one for me to admit, which is to be preferred.
Ooh, okay.
So in relationship and in business, I have had, and sometimes it's less obvious, but I have chosen situations. I put myself in situations. I have allowed situations where in relationships, I'm talking romantic men ones, where I was not the first priority. Now, that's not universally, but there's just this thing. It's like this triangular thing. So that was that. And then I realized in business, if I'm going to, in business, I would also need to be preferred to be hired. So,
Yes.
right. And that was the most difficult. The second most difficult one was to be included. Now,
right.
I'm talking about, right? I was talking earlier about looking to the other. So what I'm looking at now is to be included in what? So I have been included since this, establishing this particular need, not always in things that are really right for me. So that's been one of my tendencies, is to include myself, to want to be included, and not even look to see, well, do I want to be a part of this? And so it's really to be included in things that I care a great deal about, with people I care about.
Could we even take that one step further and say perhaps inclusion of self?
Oh yeah, there's that. Yes, to include myself. Actually, I caught that earlier on. I'd already handled that, so I forgot.
Okay. All right. Good.
Yeah,
You're way ahead of me.
Yeah. The third one is stability. And that is, one might say, oh, I need a stable home. Again, looking out. I need people to be stable in my life. No, I need to be stable. So that's where the boundaries start to come in. What am I letting into my life that is taking me off?
Right.
That's been one of the more comfortable ones, because now I can see some things, people I care deeply about, and I have to move away right now. And then the fourth one is self-reliance, similar to stability, but this one is about being able to self-soothe. Part of the looking to the other is, and it still arises, Susan. I mean, it arises every day right now. Can I stay in my home? Do I need to go out? If I go out, will I see friends? If I don't see friends, will I be happy or sad? So self-reliance. That's the fourth one. So that's the first step that I've taken. I had another answer behind that one. And it's part of this program as well. And you were included, I think it was a week or two ago, is when I watched this thing of like, oh, where are they? Who can I attach myself to? Oh my God, a whole day by myself when I'm loser. Those thoughts. It's insane in here.
That's where you were.
Right. Is that I reached out, because one of the things is the invitation in this process is to ask people to help you with what you need. And so I wrote to 3 women so that if I get to that place where it's just so like, I could reach out and call and not take that action. So that's part of the process of the program.
The question that comes to mind as you were talking about that, Joan, is, and I'd like your opinion on this, why do you think it's so difficult for women to reach out and ask for what they need or to ask for help?
I don't know, because, well, it's weird. I would say I am good about that, but then I can also look back and say, no. I don't ask for help until I'm in the trenches.
Yeah, that's usually what it takes. Is deep despair, deep pain, such intensity. Yes.
Well, I'm going to give a very indirect answer, but a response, but it's what's come up, and we can just see if it resonates. There's a woman, Brene Brown.
Yes.
She wrote a book, Daring Greatly. I think that's what it's called. And she said the issue for women is this expectation on ourselves of perfection. Now, that's a very broad statement. I don't know why we would have a problem. I mean, I guess it feels like weakness. if we're used to showing up for others, to be the responsible one. I mean, that has been one of my things. When I used to have Crohn's symptoms, I would stay at my job until my body was so wrecked I couldn't. But it was like, oh, I can't. I said I'm reliable. So I don't know. I said I'm reliable.
For me, I can say that it has to do with some very early conditioning in my upbringing, the environment, the culture that I was raised in. And to your point, yes, it was very much a sign of weakness if you ask for help, which I think contributed to my overachieving, the lack of never being enough. I needed to be able to do it all myself, so I had to continually do more and more. And that short-circuited so many of my abilities, my talents, my flow, because that is contrary, that sense of perfection and striving is contrary now to what I know as my inner core, my essence, my uniqueness, back to that word. And why I was in such discord for so many years, because I was out of alignment with my true self, my higher self, my inner self.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I can relate to that. And I was thinking maybe also we haven't really been allowed to be feminine in our generation, perhaps a bit. I mean, the go out and work, and we've been conditioned to a masculine way to a large extent, to be competitive instead of receptive. I don't know that competitive is wrong, but I was certainly encouraged to have a career and to be self-sufficient, which is a very funny thing to say, given I'm having a difficult time. But maybe it was contrary to what is a more aligned way of operating.
Yes, that would be my observation with you. And what I hear you sharing with us today is that this quest you're on, this journey that you're on, is to realigning your behaviors and your actions with your beliefs and your truest self. And that is uncomfortable because you are behaving differently. You are creating new patterns.
Yes.
Part of the discovery, I think you said it was equal parts of being excited and frightened. Was that the right word? Terrifying.
Yes.
And I've been in that place in my life several times. Not that this is about me, but what I'm always amazed at, and I am with you as well, Joan, is that when we are in that point of acknowledgement that we need to do something different, when our pain reaches a level that we need to change, then the resiliency within that seems to spring forth so that we can in fact reemerge, that we can come out of it whole and intact. In fact, perhaps better, more complete than we were prior to. Would you like to comment on that?
I had thoughts while you were talking and they're gone. Can you restate the question? Shorter.
The pain becomes the impetus for us.
I just need
the pain. That's all we need to say.
No, but what I was thinking of is I don't remember what word you used, but I was thinking of the human spirit. The spirit is strong. I was better able, except for when I wasn't, to deal with Crohn's system, to take on physical pain. Emotional pain is much more difficult for me to handle, and that's where that seeking comes in. So I guess it's my time to assert to become self-reliant, and not reach out, because it's not about that, but it's at least to be aware of what's motivating my desire to connect.
And your courage, Joan, to go through this emotional upheaval and disruption and to stay with it versus retreating back into what's known, what has been. You're not willing to do that.
No.
This is your stand saying that it's my turn.
Mm-hmm. I received an email from somebody that I've had to say, I need to take a break from this, because it was one of the people I was, here, you can have everything. And I think it had been 5 days. And I noticed already the disturbance in the field. It took me about an hour. I haven't replied. But it's like, so then now there's an increasing awareness even of what something that felt generally joyous-ish, not yet completely, the side of it that wasn't joyous. So it's good. And I like, no, if I have to stay with this. Yeah.
And yes, you do. And what I'm hearing from you is the courage and the commitment to do so, even though it's uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. And there are tears. And I guess I'm talking about me, where I am now in my life. I think the interesting thing is, it's a bigger question. Can we be sovereign in ourselves and be in relationship? And I think this is actually what it takes, because it's not about not being connected by any means. And I'm actually designed to be of assistance to others, to recognize others, to nurture talent, but not at my own expense. And not at the expense of my own talent and my own voice. Yeah.
So you are finding your voice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was looking at my new project is Your Voice to the World. So I have it in my bathroom and my mirror, like, yours too.
So often you have talked about the role that we serve as coaches, mentors, guides to our clients is often for the same purpose that we've experienced in our life. It's we learn what we need to learn so that we can be of service and bring value to others, that we are our best client sometimes. Mm-hmm. Don't always have all the right answers, but if we're just a few steps ahead of our clients, then at least we're that far ahead and can offer some encouragement.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So we're coming down to the time here. Joan, do you have a parting message or words of wisdom
I have an invitation
you'd like to share?
I have an invitation.
Oh, good.
I am inviting those in this audience with us to come and spend 30 minutes with me on the phone. And if you're interested, if this is called to you, like, oh, perhaps this would be valuable. What I say about the Need Less program is once you get your needs met, they vanish. That's the awesome thing.
That is awesome.
Which means they're getting met, so they're no longer out there. But anyway, to share this document with this list of 200, to come together with me as a complimentary offer, and let's see what your 4 needs are, the personal needs. And I am thinking I would like to do a group with other women, but there's no obligation. This is just really something I would like to offer, because I figure the more of us taking care of ourselves this way.
That's very generous. I'll be taking advantage of that, because now you're intrigued and curious about my 4 primary needs.
Okay.
Thank you.
And then in the follow-up, when we post this, I'll give you the URL for that.
Good. Joan, I appreciate your honesty. I value your friendship, certainly. Most importantly, the truth that you have shared with us today, and the courage that you've had to step out in front and say, this is what I'm going through. So Thank you.
I forgot to turn that one off. Okay. Oh, well, I turned that one off.
All right. So
thank you so much, really, for your friendship and for inviting me to this. It took me until this morning to really be ready for it, and I'm glad that we did it.
Excellent. Thank you, my dear. We will be in touch. And for our listeners and viewers worldwide, thanks for being with us today, for joining in Joan's story and her journey. And my wish for you is to be safe and true to yourself. Bye for now.